I think when you're considering, how do I talk to my parents about these issues? I think instead of, like Sean mentioned, going right to the money, one thing to talk about is, look, there's things we can do, mom and dad, to make this real easy for us or your grandchildren at your deaths. Really, everybody at that age knows somebody that had to go through probate. And I guarantee if you talk to them about it, they are not going to say, hey, you should definitely do that. It was awesome. It's a long, excruciating, inexplicably slow process that nobody likes. So just to avoid that for your children through planning, that is beneficial. And I think most parents will want that for their children. We're talking about power of attorney, healthcare proxy, executive. While someone is alive and competent, they have the authority to make decisions on that now. You can set up who's going to handle your affairs while you're alive. You can set up who's going to handle them at your death. You can decide now who's going to get what percentage of your estate. So by not planning, you're putting some authority, a court, in a position to make those decisions for you, or allow your kids to bicker about it in front of a judge to try to convince them who should be the one in charge. So this is a way to avoid that happening. We want everything you, mom or dad, save for us or grandchildren, whoever you want it to go to. Let's take some steps. Not going to change your lifestyle now, but instead of having a will that says everything to go to my 2 children, we could set up a transfer on death designation on your brokerage accounts and your bank accounts. Going to go to the same people. Why not let them walk into a bank or a financial institution with a death certificate and 10 days later have that money in their name, versus having to walk into an attorney's office with a box full of paperwork and a check for a $5,000 retainer and an expectation of maybe in 12 months we can distribute this money. There's certain things that can avoid that probate process and make things real easier at death. And finally, money talks. And when you look at how much a nursing home costs, and you come to terms with, look, we're going to do everything we can to keep you out of a nursing home. But if there is some scenario where we don't have a choice and you have to go there, maybe we could do some things now to prevent assets from having to be spent in a nursing home. And, in this trust planning that we're talking about, it's always, mom and dad can't get the money unilaterally, but that doesn't mean they can't set up the trust so that while they're alive, money can't go to their kids. So my parents, as an example, they have all this money in their trust account, and they also have a lot of money outside, I think. So if they ever went through all the money outside their trust, the trustee could make a distribution to me or one of my siblings. Once we have the money, we may decide, all right, we're going to give this money to mom or dad. So there is kind of a backdoor way money can get back to them. A lot of people will say, well, I don't want to give up my money, and if I need money to put a roof on my house, or I want to go on vacation or buy a Cadillac, even though most of these parents have never spent that kind of money on an expensive vacation or expensive car in their life, once they talk about estate planning, it's suddenly something that they usually might want to consider. So there's backdoor ways to get money out to them from a trust. So it's never utterly unavailable, but they acting alone can't get to it. So really working through what their concerns are and bringing up the issues of, it can be real expensive if you have to go to a nursing home. And it can be expensive and time consuming and inefficient if we leave everything to go through your probate estate. That's kind of how I would bring up talking about this.